So welcome to 2015 paper 2 question 5. So see here it's a geometry slash trigonometry question, and I say to you, look, the formula is there, it's a little bit of a hint, and just have a tackle at the question and see is there anything you can identify first before we go on. So pause this and have a look, and if possible can you just even tackle the question even just using that formula and see if you get it right when we resume the video. So I'm assuming you're back. Now the diagram shows the triangle BCD and ABD. So where's BCD? This triangle here, BCD, and then the other triangle ABD. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out anything. Well, first thing I can see here, well, there's two angles of a triangle, so they would add to give 152. 152 from 180 would be 28. So that's 28. So broken the back of the question. Okay, I've done something. Okay, full straight angle is 180. So 63 and 42 is 105. That would be 75. Only have one angle there. I can't say anything about that. Okay, one thing I know, the 16 would be the longest side here because this is the biggest angle. So if I find the side BC, so find BC, the length of BC, the bars right there mean length of. Find BC, correct it 2 decimal places. Now BC is this one here, so I'm going to put a question mark there. So it's probably this triangle I'm focused on. So if you want to draw it out again, no harm. Okay, you kind of go, right, I have this, okay, I have this, and I have this. And you go, right, could I use, actually I could use the cosine rule here. And I'd find the missing side. So I have the angle and the two sides either side of it. So cosine rule would work. I prefer the sine rule if I can use it. So the sine rule there, do I have an angle and its corresponding side? I do. Can I compare that to another side and its angle? Okay, I can compare it to here. And in doing so, I'll find the information I want to find. So there are my 4 unknowns. But I know 3 of the 4 things, so this will work. And so would cosine rule, as I said. That's going to the answer here. That's the formula written out. I've identified all my different things. So A is what I'm looking for. It's the length of BC. Big A is 42. So that's your side and corresponding angle. The side B16 corresponds to the angle 110. So that's the corresponding angle there. And that's my 3 unknowns, and leaving 1 unknown, which I can solve for. So plug my numbers in. Then I'm going to do some cross multiplication. So sine 110 was divided on the right, comes across, becomes multiplied. Same thing, sine 42 was divided on the left, comes across and does the opposite, and that's multiply. So I end up with this. I've made it linear. But I want A on its own, not sine 110. And I would suggest here, don't go decimal at this point. Wait until, to use your calculator, until right at the end. If you round, if you calculate sine 110 here, you're going to have to round it to maybe 4, even 5, 6, 7 decimal places. It's still going to lose some accuracy. So by you get a rounding penalty, a rounding early penalty, how it would be described. So anyway, I bring the sine 110 across. It was multiplied on the left, comes across and does the opposite. That's why it ends up down here. Now it doesn't become negative. It's the operator that changes. So this whole kind of uber function here can be put into the calculator. Calculator can handle it. And you're going to come out with 11.393. That's to round to 2 decimal places. So 3 is less than 5, so the next number stays the same. So 11.39, and not most importantly, but importantly, the units, or again, you'll lose a mark. So that's A part 1, 15 marks. A lot of marks for something that should be, and if this is beyond your capability, if you're watching this video, I apologize, but this is something that should be considered bread and butter. And I would say, look, if it isn't, then practicing these standard methods. So when a question does come up, you're kind of going, wow, yes, excellent, as opposed to, oh no. But that's practice makes perfect. Okay, so I'm on to question 5, part A, part 2 here. Find the area of the triangle BCD. Corrected 2 decimal places. Now, I've found more information since then. I'll go back and carry it across. Where did it go? 28, 75. So that's 78. What's the 78? Could be 78. 28. Okay. So that's 28. That's 11.93. Let me check that. I know I'm wrong. 11.39. Okay. Now, so find the area of the triangle BCD. So that is this triangle here that I'm writing information in. Apologies for the mess. Now, I can't use a half base by height because it's not a right angle triangle. So the only formula really I'm left with is area is equal to half base by, half AB sine C. Now, there is a trig question formula for use for finding the area in coordinate geometry, but this isn't on the coordinate diagram. And in that formula, you have to make sure that you move one of the vertices to 0, 0. So that's my three area formulas that can come up. Now, I've given a hint here by writing it out. Now, this triangle is labeled differently, okay, but if I was to be able to take it off, and usually just basically draw a small diagram, okay, so 42, 110, we said 16, and we calculate 11.39. Now, for this formula to work, okay, if you can imagine, I need to know two sides and the angle in between them, okay, so if this was angle C, that would be side C, okay. If this was angle A, that would be side A. This is angle B, that would be side B. So I need to know A and B and the angle in between. Now I know that's 28 because I calculated, and that was the difference between the 42 plus 110 from 180. So those are my three numbers. So I'm going to go straight to the answer. I have my 28, I have my 16, and I have my 11.39. Put them into the formula. Okay, so A times B times sine 28. Now it's a calculator job, so put it in the calculator. Up comes 42.778 to 2 decimal places. So 8 is greater than 5, 7 rounds up 1. So 42.78 and the units meter squared. Okay, so that's that. Question A part 2, 5 marks. So there's 5 left. And lastly in part B here is a 5D, so scale. So there's a low partial, mid partial, high partial and full marks. So find the length of AB corrected 2 decimal places. So I put in the two things I had there. So that's AB here, so it's the question mark down here. I worked out that that's 75. Now, so I don't know any of the two angles, so sine rule can't work, okay? If sine rules work, I need to know an angle and its corresponding side, another angle and its corresponding side. So I know an angle, no side, no angle, a side. So I know two of the four things for the sine rule. Pythagoras sine cos tan won't work because it's non-right angled. So I'm left with the only option really is the cosine rule. And I'm looking for the side, so it's straightforward enough, okay? So I'm looking for little a. I have B and I have C, it doesn't matter which order I put them in. And I have cos A, the big A, which is 75, so it's the angle corresponding to the side. Now, cosine rule can be rearranged if sometimes you're asked to find the angle and you have all three sides. And there's a way of rearranging that, and I would always suggest rearranging it before you actually apply the formula. But that's something if we come across later on, we'll do. Okay, so I have my things, the information written out here. I've stuck them in. Now, I would say go straight to the calculator, let the calculator do the work. It's supposed to bring it down piecemeal. But don't forget here that this square here has to come across the equal to get the final answer of A. So there's always going to be a step where you bring the square across, becomes the opposite, which is square rooted. Square root of 273.178 is 16.528. Now, in one sense, if you had not got the right answer there, okay, and you got 273, even just roughly 273, you're saying there the length of that side is 273. And the size of this angle is 75. So it's not even the biggest angle, okay? This wouldn't make sense. The biggest angle should be across from here, okay? 75 something and something. So the fact that this side here is so much bigger would be an indication to you that it is wrong, okay? Now, let's leave it at that. Actually, 75 must be the biggest angle. 16. So I don't actually know what they are, but I know that if this answer is 16.53, which is correct, okay, they're just cross off the 273. That's gone now. The largest angle will correspond to the largest side. So 75 from 180 is 105. Okay, conceivably this could be 55 and 50, okay, or something similar to that. So this is the longest side. Okay, anyway, that's sort of a waste of time there at the end. Hope that makes sense. It's very much worth having a go at this. If you're struggling with any of these formulas, just tell me and we'll go through and practice them. If you're struggling on the problem solving part of it, look, practice makes perfect. If you tackle 10, 15 questions in the textbook, you can always ask me any of the questions in the textbook that you don't make sense or you can't figure out. We'll go through it. Once you break the back of problem solving, it becomes much, much easier. But that just takes practice. Okay, thanks very much. Question 5, 2015, paper 2.